Faces Unmasked is a podcast of candid conversations that explore the intricate layers of our unique identities, worth, and value. I'm Lauren.
I'm Paige.
I'm Kim. Let's unmask. Welcome to the first ever recording of True Faces Unmasked. Right? We've been talking about this for a long time. It has been
how long?
Probably 9 months. I think it started in August. We started talking about it. I think it was.
It was definitely after seminar, which is July.
Right.
So yeah, long time.
Yeah, it's been a really long time coming. And so we're just diving into it. And here we are. We finally settled on a title.
True Faces.
Thank you,
Unmasked.
ChatGPT.
Thank you, ChatGPT.
Thank you, ChatGPT.
AI doesn't have to be a bad thing.
No, it doesn't. Oh my goodness, my life is forever changed.
Right? That's so funny. Okay, so I'm Kim. I'm one of your hosts. We're located in Wichita, Kansas, and actually hope to reach people all over the place. I don't think borders really matter. Right? Yeah.
No,
you guys want to
no,
introduce yourselves?
Yeah, my name is Paige, and we're just introducing our names. My name is Paige. I'm living in Wichita, Kansas right now. And again, yeah, just like Kim said, we want to reach whoever needs to hear our message and needs to hear what we have to say.
Absolutely. My name is Lauren, and we've all got a story to tell, and we all have different things that make up who we are, and I think that can relate to a lot of people and maybe help bring some stuff to the surface that you didn't know was there, and
For sure.
it'd be
I love
great.
it.
I think that's awesome. One of the big things we want to focus on is kind of removing that mask that we all tend to wear, whether we know it or not, that we may be masking ourselves from the world, like masking our true selves there. We might be masking ourselves from ourselves. Anyone else do that?
yeah.
Like I do that, okay?
Boom.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I'm not that. Yes, I am.
Totally like that.
Yes, I am. Okay. So I'm sure we'll be mixing in faith. We'll be mixing in business. We'll be mixing in friendship, relationships, our backgrounds, our futures, all of the things. We just want to be real. And we want to inspire you to be real and kind of at least at some point be able to step out from behind that mask,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
100%.
Our true, authentic selves, who we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it may not always be pretty. I'm just going to say
No.
this about myself.
Yeah.
It may not always be pretty.
Yeah.
But it'll be real.
It'll be real. I will
It'll be
go.
real.
We will get real.
Love
That's
it.
the one thing I know how to do.
True faces.
Yep.
True faces.
So I guess we could start like with telling backstories because I mean I know you both, but I don't know anything about like how you kind of got to where you're at. Do you guys want to start there? I could start
Sure. Go ahead.
kind
Go
of
for
just with like, I mean, I grew up in Kansas City, so I'm not from Wichita. I'm from Kansas City, and I mean I grew up there and came to Wichita on a softball scholarship. So I've been an athlete my whole life. You guys know that. Like I've been an athlete my whole life, but I've always felt like I've had like this leadership calling. I never really felt like I belonged. I always felt like an outsider, just like I don't know how to explain it. And like we've talked about it before with like the different friend groups and stuff. And I always I jumped around to friend groups all the time. And I was always like, what's wrong with me? Like, why does no one want to be my friend? And I know that's like jumping so deep right away, but it's like someone's going to be watching this right now that needs to hear it because it's just so true. And it's like, I feel like if we're going to start the podcast, you start off with the true faces unmasked right away. So I just always felt like I was lost, but it's like ever since then coming to Wichita, still playing softball, still going through college, just not knowing who I am. And then getting out of college, it's like I knew once I graduated softball, or not graduated softball. When I graduated college, I felt like I was graduating a part of me. Like I was the athlete my whole life, you know? So I really felt like I was graduating from my softball self, like from who I was and my identity. And so I knew, and I've always had this knowing that I was going to have this whole different identity crisis, like identity change, because I knew I was an athlete my whole life and that this was changing and I didn't know who I was going to be. And so then it's like I graduated, I find Mary Kay, and I'm like, that I hear these higher ups talk about all the time, like how much of a blessing it is for women to get to grow in this business, like get to grow and find themselves in this safe space. So I'm like, that's why I'm just so excited. I think I get so quiet sometimes because I'm like, I just can't believe this is actually how I get to grow up. Like how I get to pretty much come from where I felt yes, I had my identity. Yes, I love softball. Yes, I felt like I belonged, but I didn't truly solely feel like I belonged, you know? And so it's like now I feel like I have found my place. And it's like I am here in Wichita, but I don't know if Wichita is my home. I see myself traveling a lot. I see myself going places. So I don't know if it's like just my home is with the people I find myself around, you know, or what. But so that's what's really just gotten me here. And then finding this, it's been almost 3 years since I've graduated college. And it's like since I graduated, I went on this whole like finding myself journey. And it's almost like I can't not do it. Like I try to go do something else and it leads me right back to just the Lord telling me like be still and find yourself pretty much. So that's where I'm at, and I'm here just pretty much learning from these other women and how to live their lives. So it's pretty cool because I really just have that gift of getting to be still young in my 20s, see you guys living your life, see you guys progressing and getting to learn from all of you, but then also get to find myself in that process. So
Very good.
Beautiful.
yeah, that's me.
Nice to meet you, Paige.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I know where she is, but nice introduction. I'm Lauren. Haha. Let's see. What do we want to know? I love that you just got vulnerable right away. That kind of helped. So
That's me. That breaks the...
And yes, because I was like, what am I going to talk about? I don't even know. And you said identity crisis. I'm like, oh my goodness, that is like my story is identity crisis. So growing up, I grew up in Missouri. And we moved to Indiana for a while. I got married. We moved to Indiana, did our undergrads up there, and then we moved down to Wichita for him to get his master's at WSU, and then we just never left. And it's just been our home for a while. Don't know if it's our forever home or not. Kind of feel like it's not, but you know, it's a really great place to be for right now. And just diving on in, growing up, my identity crisis was that I never felt seen. Never felt seen. And so I was always in the shadow of somebody else. I was the pastor's daughter. I was my brother's little sister. And my brother was like the big band nerd that like everyone knew he was the drummer. Like even though he was the band nerd, like everyone knew who he was. I'm like, he's the really good drummer. Anyway, I'm Mason's little sister. I am now my husband's wife. My husband is, you know who he is. Well, y'all don't know who he is, but anyway, this is about me right now. Okay. And so I never felt seen. And then, but, you know, and I always felt like a supporter. I'm a supporter. I'm a supporter. I'm not in the limelight. But that was just, there was always something in me that just like gnawed at me. Like, that's not good enough. So maybe I'm just not good enough. And so going on in life, you know, I'm just moving on. I'm happy. And then I'm just pursuing my hobbies. Like I really like tactile hobbies like crocheting and embroidery. And like I do photography. And so I do all of these things, and I think okay, this is my calling. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. And so fast forward to having my first daughter. I thought I would, so I had a job, and then I quit to be a stay-at-home mom full-time, and I'm like, I'm going to have all this time to pursue my hobbies and, like, have, like, a store, like, online and just do my thing. But my daughter is who she is.
We love her.
And we love her. She is a ball of energy, day one. Like, oh my goodness. So, did not have any time to do any of that stuff. I just became 100% mom all the time. So I lost myself. Total lost myself. Didn't know what my dreams, my desires were. I'm like, who am I? I don't even know anymore. And that's because, like, my identity was formed on those things that I could do, those things that I was gifted in. But I couldn't do those things, so I no longer knew who I was. And so fast forward, I had my second daughter, and hormones started balancing out. Like, something happened, something shifted in me, and I started feeling more like myself again. And so I've been on this journey of rediscovering who I am at my core instead of what I can do. And so I am in this journey of
realizing that gnawing in the back of my head that, oh, you're just a supporting role. Like, you're in the shadows, and that's fine. You can just stay there and support the people who are actually supposed to be in the limelight because, you know, it's obvious why they're there. He can sing. He can play instruments. He's a pastor. He's like, you're just here for support. But that's not true.
Oh, yes.
That's actually not true because I found my business and I'm moving up and all the things.
That's amazing.
I'm running out of things to say.
And you're
So, yeah.
somebody.
And
You're
I'm somebody. I'm somebody.
That's amazing.
Mm.
Thanks for introducing yourself, Lauren. I loved
You're
that.
welcome.
Really good.
I also didn't know you were a photographer, so
Yes, I am.
I love that.
I am.
That's fun. I'm Kim. I'll give you the surface stuff first. I grew up in Kansas. I hated Kansas. So I left for college. I went to Hawaii for college. I thought it was like the furthest away I could get without leaving the country and without like having 24/7 darkness, right? Yes, I know that Alaska doesn't have 24/7 darkness all year round, but there are times that there is, and I chose Hawaii. So I went to college there. I got married. We had a little boy who is not a little boy anymore. I had moved back to Kansas because of some roommate. I don't know. I would say, I guess, roommate issues. We just had differences in values. That's really what it was. And my then husband he was in the Marine Corps, and he went to
I didn't know
the
that.
war in Iraq. And it changed everything. It changed everything. Look at that. See, I only was on the surface for a second.
I love
Changed everything. And so who I had dated and married wasn't quite who came back from the war. Like, things changed. And it's an interesting thing because then we had our son, and our marriage did not last. So I think we were married, I don't know, 7 or 8 years maybe.
it. Wow.
And what I found was, and this has to do with expectations, but I was evolving in who I was in that, well, I'm a new mom. And so I can't do some of these things I did before. I wasn't going to go out and party and like get wild and lose all of my inhibitions because I had another human being to care for. And that was where I was coming from. And he was like, I am who I am. I'm not changing. And so he was who he was, and I was changing into this other thing. And I don't think either one is wrong, but we just wound up growing apart.
Yeah.
And so wound up splitting up. It wasn't working anymore. And I struggle with that hardcore, you guys, because number one, failure. Number two, I am someone, I do have a very strong faith.
Yes.
Okay. And according to how I was raised in the faith, I don't hold these beliefs anymore, but how I believed then, I felt like it was the ultimate terrible thing.
Yep.
You know, but it happened, and I had to deal with it. And so I don't know. I got remarried against what would have been what I thought was going to happen then. I realized that God has way more grace for us and than we think he does. And I think sometimes he has paths for us that don't go exactly like everyone, like you think they're going to go, or like everyone around you thinks they're going to go. And so I've just been on this journey for years and years at this point. My faith journey has been a rocky one. It's so good and life-giving, but it doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah.
Right? So I've been also like finding myself.
Yeah.
I kind of thought when I went to college, like I went and I was being independent and I like went and found myself. And then when I turned 30, I realized, oh, I found who I wanted to be. And so then I spent most of my 30s figuring out who I was made to be.
Wow.
And that some of those things were the same and some of them were completely different. And there were parts of me that were hidden or like covered up so much that I didn't want to look at them. I didn't want to see them. I didn't want to feel them. I didn't want to touch them. And the Lord has slowly been like drawing that out of me.
Yep.
So I don't know if this makes any sense at all. So I'm remarried. I have a daughter now as well who is a little firecracker.
Oh, she's so cute.
And I'm just on a journey. That's who I am. I'm on a journey. I'm still finding myself. I think it was so naive, like being 20 and thinking, oh, I found myself. I'm done. Like
yeah.
solid. It's like done. Foundations are built. Okay, no. Like continually, I have found that the more I advance, the more I learn more things, the more I come into who I am, the more there is to reveal.
Wow.
You know?
Yes.
So I don't think this is like, I don't think at any point I have arrived. I don't think at any point I will have arrived, but I'm going and I'm on a journey.
Wow.
And I'm learning and I'm advancing. So I guess that's me.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I'm like, keep going.
I'm captivated.
I love that. Thank you for being so vulnerable. I didn't know that about you. So
Yeah.
I just learned something new today too.
Yeah. It's actually one of the things, I would say, one of the songs that the Lord has given me to sing, and I don't mean an actual tune, but it has to do with identity. Like there's so much value that I believe He's placed in each one of us. We are all made innately to carry value and to contribute to the whole. Like I'm also an introvert, so I get that it's really valuable being alone as well. But I also see the value in the community, you know. And man, that is all I want to do. I want to draw the value out of you. I want to draw the value out of you. I want to draw the value out of you. And I think it's so mutually beneficial. And that's kind of there's my path on my journey right now.
It. Yeah. I love it. Because I feel like it's just like explaining exactly what I'm wanting to do. So I think that's why I was so intrigued, because I'm like, you're saying exactly what I'm wanting to do. Like but I'm just like, I am the 20-year-old version of where you were. It was like, I thought I found who I was, and I thought I made it to college. Like that was the plan.
Right.
That was the plan that was put on my life. You know, you work hard, you get to college, you get there and you play softball. You go be that softball player. That's who you are. And then it was like, now what? That's done. There is no next level there is, but it's not. It's just that's not, regular or whatever a good word is for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So it's like I thought I knew I was, and it's like, how ignorant am I to know that that's who I was supposed to be? Like, there's obviously more. I'm only in my 20s. Like, there's still so much more to life. And it's like, you showing me, like, or just explaining that is really eye-opening to me, because it's like, I am still growing and I am still evolving. After my first year, Mary Kay, like, what did, our director asked us, what changed in you your first year? And I said, I grew up. If you guys remember, like, I literally grew up, and I know I'm not the same person I was at all. So I'm like, and I know I'm still on this journey though. And so it's just really cool to hear that from you and from you too, because it's like we're all in just we're in different phases of our lives, but we're able to come together and still be on the journey together.
Oh, for sure.
So that's really cool.
I feel like I've grown more in the last year and a half in my business than I had in my first 32 years of life.
Literally, dude, literally.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes, I've been learning a lot this last year and a half, and it's been fantastic. So I felt like there was something else I was going to say, but
But
I was going to say, I think one of the big shifts that happens, and this is really, I'm going to tie this back into who we are as this podcast, right? The true faces. I think there's so much that we often will try to connect ourselves with what we do. You talked about this, Lauren.
This is where my brain was. Thank you.
Yes.
You get me back
So
on track.
what we do does not define who we are,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who we are is a state of being.
Mm-hmm.
So it is about being and not about doing. Yes, you do things. Of course you do things. But do they define your identity? I don't think so.
No,
You know?
exactly.
I think that who you are as a being defines how you do. You know what I mean? Maybe not even necessarily what you do. So you may crochet and you may do embroidery.
That's so good.
You may do Mary Kay and do facials for people, right? But I think that it, based on who you are, that determines how that gets outworked. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think that's what we're digging into here, right? We want to look at those true faces, like take away that mask and really say, who are you? What is your state of being, right? Like are is a being word. Remember when you had to like in Spanish class,
Yeah.
what's the word for that? Where you have to have all the different ways of saying like to be,
Yeah.
like soy.
Yeah. Soy, tú, eres, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't remember. There's some specific word for it. I don't know.
I think soy is I actually.
Yeah,
but,
soy is I.
soy. No, soy is I am.
Oh. Soy is I am. Yes.
Yeah. So soy is a state of being, right? Like I am, you are, we are, they are, we collectively, like all of the population are those things. I think that's where we're going,
Yes.
right? We're going to that. Who are you? That true face, right?
At the core.
Yeah. And then what you do comes from that. I love it.
I love it too.
So who do you guys think you are at your core right now?
I am a freaking princess.
Ooh, I love that. You're gonna have to bring your crown on.
I'm a crown.
She has a crown.
I do.
She earned a crown.
I earned a crown. Like,
Because she's a
thank you.
freaking princess.
Freaking princess. Yeah. So my biggest thing in my identity that I am holding on to right now is my identity is not in the fun things that I do and my abilities. It is in not who I am, but whose I am. I'm a daughter of Christ.
I'm so glad you said that.
I'm a daughter of Christ. And one of the things that I feel like is my purpose that I get to use my business as a vehicle for. My purpose is not even my business now. It's the vehicle that I get to use to promote this value that I have, this belief that I have that we are all frickin' princesses.
Yes.
Like we are all daughters of Christ. We all have a crown. And a lot of us don't know that we have one. I didn't know I had one. And anyway, there's a fun story about the crown that our director picked out for me.
Really?
There is a
I wanna
fun story
hear.
about it. So Rebecca, I love the one she picked out for us or for me. It's gold and
You're gonna have to bring it on. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna jump forward.
Okay.
So I was praying and I was talking to the Lord and I got into the throne room and I was sitting on his lap and he put a crown on my head and it was real leaves. It was laurel leaves. It was laurel leaves. And if for those of you who don't know, laurel leaves are used as a symbol of victory.
I did not know
So
that.
like laurel, like a laurel crown, which would be like used as the sign of victory, a crown of victory. So, and Lauren, my name, is a derivative of the word laurel.
Wow.
So, I'm a freaking princess of victory, y'all. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So in the throne room, he puts this crown on my head, and it is real laurel leaves, but it's in the shape of like a tiara crown. It's
Ooh.
not just like leaves, like in a, what you would think of a leaf crown, but it was actually looked like a crown, but it was with leaves and diamonds in it. Y'all know what my crown looks like that Rebecca picked out for me?
Is it green?
It's not green, it's gold, but they are leaves.
I just got chills.
They are leaves.
Oh my
And
gosh.
not real diamonds, but
They look like it.
they look like it. They're not real diamonds,
beautiful.
but it's diamond-like
Dude, that's
gems.
incredible. That's the Lord.
And so I was just like,
like speechless.
what?
Oh my God.
Because I was thinking about it. I was like, this is a beautiful crown. And then I got to thinking about the crown that she picked out for me. And whenever I say, Rebecca, you picked so well, she's like, the Lord picked it out.
Mm.
She says the Lord picked it out. She like will not take credit for it. She said the Lord picked it out. And now I'm like, yeah, he did.
Yeah. Wow.
I love that.
I know, right?
That's
I
amazing.
do too. I felt like I was going somewhere else with that. Oh,
You at yourself.
we all have crowns. We all have crowns. And so many of us don't know we have them. We've, dropped them along the way. But they're right there.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us just need reminded that it's there or told that is there. So that is like my mission, my ministry is to tell everybody that we're all freaking princesses. We all have a crown. Wear it with pride.
Wow.
Wear it. Like, be unashamed about it.
Mm-hmm.
Wear it.
Mm-hmm.
Know who you are.
That's good. That's good.
I love that. Well, I'm going to use my book. I brought this because I wanted to tell you guys somehow today about this, and this is the perfect time to tell you guys about it. So, me at my core, I've used a lot that at my core, I am a leader. I am a leader. And so I have this book, Sadie Robertson. If I ever get to meet you, I am your number one fan. I've read this book like 3 times and some others, but I love her. But it's a devotional. And I found, so I am working to become a sales director in Mary Kay right now. Mm-hmm. They know, as you guys know, I run my own business. We all run our own business as Mary Kay Beauty Consultants. That's a side note. But with that, we run our own businesses, we get to grow our business, and we get to expand. And so I'm working to expand as the leader of my own unit. So hopefully you guys can follow that, okay? I found this devotional. It's called The Stuff of Legends. I found my my unit name and our scripture message and our prayer. And so I wanted to share that with you guys because I am a leader at my core, and I know this to be true because this was when I was super sick a couple weeks ago, and I had the kidney stones, and I was in bed. And so he gave me this when I was in bed, and I think it was because physically, I've seen this happen multiple times in my life. I work myself so I put this pressure on myself to be perfection and to make people proud. It's a overhanging thing I've done my whole life. I know why. We can get into that another time. But but with that being said, I get sick because I will overwork myself, and I know that I do this, but I don't know what's happening in the moment until it happens.
Sure.
And so this happened, and again, I was like, oh my gosh, I fell into this again where I literally made myself sick, and I'm stuck literally in bed now. I can hardly get out of bed. And so I was like, you know what? The Lord's telling me I need to be still and listen to him. So I started reading, and I started taking this seriously, and this is when I found this. So the Stuff of Legends, the legends comes from that leader in me, because then the name for my unit is going to be Leading Legends.
Fun.
Ooh,
So
I like it.
that's how I see myself. That's how I view myself. And that's what I speak over myself now, that I am the leader of legends. I'm the leader of leaders. That is who I am. And I know that's who I'm called to be, because I've always had that feeling of leadership, that feeling of people don't understand me. And I think this is why. It's because I was called for something greater, that the level I've been at my whole life, they're not going to understand me. So I have to keep leveling up. And yes, it's going to suck because, I lose friends along the way. I've jumped from friend group to friend group to friend group to friend group my whole life, to this sport, to this activity, to this. Like, I've never been stuck because I never knew what the calling was, and it was to be the leader. I never wanted to be in the spotlight. Now I understand I am a leading legend. I am a leader of leaders. So I just wanted to share that because that is who I am at my core, and I know that. But so my scripture message for my unit will be Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. And then the prayer, and I loved this because I love our meetings. Our meetings are amazing. We do weekly meetings. And so I know when I step into this position that I'm called to be in, that I'll have weekly meetings. And I was like, I've always wanted to do a prayer to start the meeting. So that's what I'm going to do when I get my unit. But so this will be our weekly prayer, and I think it's even more amazing that he just handed this to me. I didn't have to create it or anything. But so he already gave me the words. It says, Lord, I'm so thankful that I don't have to look like a champion to the world so that I can leave a legacy for your kingdom. Help me to fight for your glory, not for my own, but in every battle I face, or not for my own in every battle I face. So, I mean, literally, I'm here to be that leader to give the glory and power to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I mean, he's literally bestowed this gift upon me, and it's my job and my duty to, I mean, he's gave this to me. I didn't have to go looking for it. Like, it's just so, it's crazy to me what is right in front of you that you just never realize until you open your eyes to his calling. And so the question I ask my girls now, will you commit to becoming a legend in your world? Not in the world, but in your world. So that's a good question for y'all.
I love it.
Yep. So that is me at my core. I am a leader.
That's fun.
Yeah, but I was excited to share that with you guys.
Yeah.
That I'm like, so now I like reached out to some of my girls and I'm like, hey, I'm ready. Like, I got her name. Don't worry.
That's fun. At my core, I'm trying to think. This is actually fairly challenging for me. I would have a few different answers probably. I'm a son of God and I walk in his authority. At my core, I know that beyond everything else. If you see how it manifests in the world, I think it manifests through, like, I'm someone who's like, I said this earlier, but I'm constantly seeking value, right? So I'm looking for the value in you. I'm not looking at it to take it for myself.
Yes.
I'm looking to draw it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
even when somebody does something that like pisses me off or whatever, like it doesn't, I don't know. I'm in this space right now where it's like, even if it grinds on me and seems like so opposite of what I believe or what I stand for or what I like, whatever, I really try to dig in and find the value that's in it. And it's actually not even like a grace thing. It has more to do with you're playing your role and being who you need to be, and I need to play my role and be who I need to be. And I don't think they have to compete. I think that they can collaborate.
Exactly. Use it as a stepping stone.
Exactly. And I think that you're still adding value in some of that stuff. And it's a hard lesson to learn, but it's kind of where I am. And it's value, and it is authenticity. And I also know that there are attributes about me in my core. But I think at the depths right now, that's what I would say.
I'm so glad that
That's
you
who I am.
mentioned that, because I think that's so important. And what I've been practicing a lot too is like to not compare, to not see someone and, you know, it make you mad or it be something that you think is against what you're wanting to, you know, but using it as like seeing someone, seeing like, I love this about Lauren, I love this about Kim, and I'm not jealous of it, but instead I'm going to pull that more out of you because I know that's your power, and then I'm going to figure out, okay, how can I use my power to help you so we can grow together and use each other as a stepping stone to level up. It's not instead of that comparison game or that jealousy game. I know that's something that's I've been working on a lot, and it's really hard, especially when, I mean, it's just our world. I mean, the world, and especially how I work and how I live is a lot very virtual. And so then, I mean, that's all the highlight reels. So it's just looking at that video or that person and saying like, okay, why is she so pretty? Why do I look like this? Why don't I have this? But instead saying, why does she look like that? Or not why she looks like that. I'm so glad that she was gifted with that ability. Now, how can I use my gifts to, you know, walk with that and level it up? I love that you pointed that out.
Sure.
Yeah. The comparison game is real.
It is.
And
And so unnecessary.
Oh my
It
gosh.
is. And I'm sure that's definitely part of, you know, I was always felt like I was in the shadows. Like, yeah, it's obvious why you're in the spotlight. Like, why would I be? So if that's all comparison.
Yeah, it's just like
all
it was
comparison.
you've so focused on others, and it's like you never looked at your own beauty or gifts, because I did the same.
Yeah. Same.
Very cool.
Okay. Well, I think that's a great place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I think it was perfect.
Yeah. Thanks for unmasking, ladies.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us. I hope you join us for the next one, and the next one, and the next one,
And the next one,
and
the next one, the next one, the
next
next one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
on
yeah.
the journey with us. We're growing,
Mm-hmm.
but we hope you are too. And
Yes.
we want to.
And everyone needs a safe
wanna share that.
space, you know, like
For
literally
sure,
the safe
sure.
space to grow because there's so much negativity. I mean, we need this place where we can just open up and come on here, and we're gonna have some fun segments where we're taking our makeup off with y'all and you know doing all that and really just being
come.
real because it's
Yes.
like really really just being our real selves because there's not enough of that in the world. We need more of it.
Yes.
Preach.
Awesome.
Okay.
Woo! Thanks everyone.
That's it for today. Thanks for listening. Keep up with us on this unmasking journey by joining us every Friday.
Like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. This episode is sponsored by Podcast Solutions and podcasttables.shop.
As always, we're glad you're here. See you next week.
Boom, done.